NBA just finally got interesting for the first time in years. These ridiculous trades.
Yeah.
The Warriors, the hometown team over here, just got a little bit older because anytime you can get a little bit older, you got to do that. Traded
Yes, sir.
Wiggins, a few
It's like
people for Jimmy Butler.
It's the Bay Area thing, right? Niners love getting older. Warriors love getting older.
Real quick, I don't hate the move. I think it's dope that the Warriors are at least trying to contend with. To me, you either try to build an old team around Curry or you trade Curry. And the Warriors spent the last 4 years doing neither, which is kind of weird to me. So they're trying to put a competitive old team around Curry. What do you think? Does Jimmy Butler change things?
Here's my thing. As a Laker fan, I'm spoiled right now. But I think the Luka trade genuinely shook the entire NBA so hard, and the Warriors especially so hard, that they were willing to do anything to just get a name. I don't think it mattered who it was. I think they wanted a name. My issue with Jimmy Butler is they got rid of a 29-year-old Jimmy Butler and Andrew Wiggins to get a 35-year-old Jimmy Butler, who is he is a little better. I think he's slightly an upgrade. He's also 35 years old.
Yeah.
He also is an obvious pain in the locker room. He has been a pain point in every locker room he has been in his entire career, dating back to the Bulls. Like, Draymond's already punched one teammate in the face. Like,
hey, Jimmy will punch him back.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's why I think he's a great fit. They need someone who will punch Draymond back.
If you get like finals Jimmy buckets, postseason Jimmy, then I think it's a good trade.
But he's not like that in the regular season, and there's no guarantee they make it to the postseason. That's the thing.
That's my problem with it. You just
also he doesn't really shoot threes. He posts up, and he's better if you have 4 shooters around him. The Warriors have 1 shooter.
Yeah, and I think the worst part is you just lost so much depth. So you lost Andrew Wiggins, who I think I think his comp is Jimmy Butler. He's a slightly worse Jimmy Butler. You lost Schroeder, who's been a rotational guy. Yeah, he's not a superstar, but he's been solid off the bench.
There's a big difference between Wiggins and Butler. I think Wiggins might be a better player. Like the Heat just got better. He's such a good defender. He's such a good role player. He's a great third option. He can shoot. But with Butler, like the Warriors just lost last night because they didn't have anyone who could control the game with a lead down the stretch. He can slow the game down. He can get to the free throw line. They don't have anyone really like that. Even Clay was never like that. I like his game. I think it's interesting. I don't know if it's a great fit because of the lack of spacing on the Warriors, but I feel like I like the trade, and I think that they still need to trade freaking Kuminga and get another old guy.
I think the biggest issue with the Warriors is they've never had a center. Like,
yeah, trade Kuminga for a legit center. Like, go get Miles Turner.
Well, they've been talking about the rumors today are they're still really pushing for Vucevic. I think he'd be great.
Great.
Like, I think that's
get a freaking center and a guy who can shoot. Great.
Especially now that you have the Lakers that just got Mark Williams with Luka, with LeBron. So you're not stopping them down low. You got the Nuggets. I mean, you're not stopping Jokic. And that's been the biggest issue. Like, that's everyone in the West's problem. Jokic. What can you do for Jokic?
Yeah.
The Lakers figured it out. They got Jackson Hayes and Mark Williams now. So they have their 2 7-footers. The Warriors don't have anyone to bang down there with Jokic. Like, it's not stop Jokic. It's slow him down a little bit. Like, make it hard on him. But it's like, sure, even if Steph Curry plays great, I mean, Jokic is just going to feast. Like, Jimmy Butler can't stop Jokic. Like, is he a great...
And now that you've made the trade for Butler, you're clearly trying to contend right now, which I think is the move as long as you have Stephen Curry, so you're not done. You're not done.
And here's my thing. I honestly would have preferred if they traded Draymond for Jimmy and then packaged Wiggins for a big. Like, or if you can package Draymond for
Well, they still have Draymond and Kuminga. They could do it.
I would 100% package them for like a good big, like a Miles Turner. Like, if you're going to package those two, you get like a Miles Turner. Like, if Vucevic, sure, I would trade Kuminga. Why is Kuminga in this pod?
I don't know why Kuminga's on the team. He's been on the team for too long. He's not going to be a number 1 player on a lead option on a great team ever. He looks like he's a bench player, man. He can't shoot. He can't play make. He doesn't want to play. He doesn't want to rebound like that. Like, trade him now.
You know what I just noticed? Isn't it weird how the Warriors and the Niners can't draft in the first round? Because didn't the Warriors grab Wiseman, who was supposed to be like a stud? This dude was supposed to be like guaranteed, certified beast. And then
Wiseman, Kuminga, they passed on some good players. I want to
man,
get your opinion real quick before we stop on the Luka trade. All of a sudden, the Lakers are interesting again. How did that happen, in your opinion?
dude, okay, so I've seen so many people talk about this. The only thing that makes sense are conspiracy theories. Like, there's
Right.
no basketball rhyme or reason you can say to convince me. Sure, yes. Is AD a perennial all-star, one of the best bigs in the league? Yes. Luka is the 1, 2, or 3 best player in the NBA. Period. End of story. Like, if you could put Jokic ahead of him, sure. Who else can you put ahead of him? Nobody. So there's no way you're getting out of this with. Look what the Lakers just traded for Mark Williams. They traded Connect, and then they traded 2 firsts. The Mavs couldn't even get 2 firsts out of us. Mm-hmm. So it has to be some sort of conspiracy. I'm also not convinced about the conditioning thing. Like, he just took you to the finals, played 100 games, 40 minutes a game on one leg. Like,
well, here's the thing. I could see them saying, like, look, dude, maybe he's got a hard living style. Maybe he's not that great conditioning. Maybe it hasn't affected him yet, but it will going forward. And we feel like his best days are behind him. And maybe he's an old 25, because you could make those arguments and convince yourself of that stuff. But to then say we're not going to have a bidding war and we're just going to trade him to one team for a guy who's 32 and also has injury issues, it's like, well, no one can defend that. It almost feels like, right? It feels like it should be illegal. Like, no one can defend that.
I saw someone say like the biggest issue with this trade is that's not a trade. Like, everyone's blaming Nico Harrison. That's not a trade that is a GM move. That's an owner saying, dude.
And they can easily nix that. Like, no, we're not doing that. This is the franchise. He's going to sell us popcorn, and
Mark Cuban would choke slam him if he recommended that. He would never let that. Yeah. Like, this is an owner saying, get him off my team. I saw a gnarly conspiracy because apparently these guys don't really care about basketball. Like, they've been very public. They're not the hugest basketball people, the new owners. They're very big in casinos and gambling. And they've really wanted to turn the Mavs arena into a casino arena destination.
Yeah.
So I saw someone, like a Mavs reporter or something, come up with this conspiracy that they're trying to tank the value of their team to leverage a move to Vegas to get a Texas.
You gotta love the NBA, dude. What a rinky-dink league. I think that's possible, but I think what's more likely is that instead of like a big conspiracy theory, it's just incompetence. You got owners who don't know what they're doing, and they've empowered this general manager who doesn't know what he's doing, and convinced himself that Luka is replaceable. Probably, I mean, from what I understand, Nico Harrison was a brand rep with Nike for a long time.
Yeah, he was also a bad brand rep. He screwed their proposal to Steph.
Right, but he probably has a great relationship with Kyrie, which is why Kyrie's there, and he probably has a great relationship with Anthony Davis.
He also is a Pelinka mentee.
I mean, really he had probably a bad relationship with freaking Luka and didn't understand that Luka is more important than him, and now they have
the only argument you could kind of get is we think the team's ready to win. We think Anthony Davis at the 4 with Lively at the 5 could be the best front court in the NBA. And we want to maximize our chances of winning this year and next year. Like, that's the only thing I could see. If they're like, we want to just sell out for a ring. We want to get a championship now. And we don't think Luka's going to be able to bring that because of his conditioning concerns. Then, I mean, I guess, like, if you're that, like, I guess, like, but that's the only thing that makes sense is if they really are confident that Kyrie is playing well enough to be the only guard and they don't want to share guard spots and Anthony Davis is going to open the floor, like, because I do think the Mavs, before the Lakers just got their center, were the better team out of the trade right now. But
I haven't heard any of his former teammates in Dallas come out and protest. I haven't heard Klay Thompson, Kyrie Irving say anything.
That is the thing, right? Like, the teammates that came with him said, Luka's a hard worker, he's a beast, blah, blah. Yeah. I mean, Kyrie said a lot that he loves Luka. He's like, that's my brother. I'm grieving. Kyrie's always kind of weird, though. Okay. But yeah, man, I mean, like, if I was Jason Kidd, I'd quit. Like, I'd be like, bro, I'm done. You just traded my franchise.
It's probably this simple. It's probably that simple.
Dallas,
the NBA's kind of weak. This wouldn't happen in the NFL. Maybe the Raiders would have done something like this when they were in Oakland, but like just the fact.
They
Well, the
did bring that
Bengals.
up.
The Bengals are kind of like that. The
They
Bengals are
did
kind of
bring
like
that
this.
up. Remember, they were
Yeah.
like, "We don't know if Luka's going to sign the supermax," and Luka he looked disgusted at that question.
I don't like money. And
Yeah,
what's messed up about it is he can't sign a supermax with the Lakers. Like
yeah.
it was kind of vindictive what they did to him. They cost him hella money.
So I mean, I could agree. It could be that simple. They're cheap. They don't want to pay out a supermax. They see they could still potentially win a ring here. But I'll tell you right now, if the NBA is scripted, Dallas Mavericks, Lakers, Western Conference Finals would be electric.
So now we're saying that the NBA and the NFL scripted. Here, the NBA sucks so much. I try to get into it because it's like I'm a sports writer and I'd like to have takes. But it's like, okay, trade happens. Let's turn on the Lakers. Oh, guess who's not playing?
Yeah.
Oh, check out the Mavs. Guess who's not playing? Like,
Did you see what Steve Kerr said? I actually like this take from him. He was like, I think the All-Star break should be the trade deadline. That way players don't find out in the middle of games. You have a week, 2 weeks, whatever, to get players acclimated, and then you can see them. Like, you could see Luka play. Like, the only one that played for the Mavs was Max Christie because he's 21 and he can do whatever he wants because he's so young and his body's just going to be like, yeah, I'm good to go. Yeah. But they couldn't see Anthony Davis yet. Can't see Luka yet, which, dude, I've been dying to see Luka. Like, I've been dying to see him play, which is when's Jimmy going to play? You know?
Right. That's another guy who's like, he hasn't played very much this year. It's like, okay.
So the Wiggins couldn't play the other day. Didn't they lose the other day to the Jazz?
Yeah, last night they were up 10 with 4 minutes left or 3 minutes left and lost.
They could have used Wiggins and Schroeder and everyone they got rid of, but they can't because they had to trade him prior to the game, which means Wiggins wasn't going to play. But they couldn't get Jimmy Butler in their building, so that he couldn't help them. And they're not. They're
give away a game to the worst to a team that's tanking. A team that's tanking.
Yeah. So that's the problem with NBA trades is while they're exciting, they're also anticlimactic because it's like, oh, great, my team that's in a playoff race right now is losing a couple games for free because we lost our players and didn't gain the one we want back.
Do you think the Mavericks will be the Las Vegas Mavericks in the next 10 years?
I see. That's my thing is I don't think it wouldn't make sense
because the Adelsons were very instrumental in bringing the Raiders to.
And yeah, that's my thing is I could see them leveraging a move or trying to, but do you think the NBA would actually sign off on leaving a market like Dallas? That's such a big market.
You can always move another team to Dallas.
Yeah. I could see them more.
Nothing sacred in the NBA.
I could see them. Yeah, true. It is the NBA. They got rid of the Supersonics.
Yeah.
I could see them maybe offering expansion and then them selling to go to Vegas. But
what NBA needs to do is what's the opposite of expansion? Contraction. Freaking contraction.
They need to get
four teams out, man. It was better when there were 20.
I'll tell you right now, I think Adam Silver's the worst commissioner in sports. I genuinely think he is the worst. He has no backbone. He lets players walk over him. He lets owners that's what I like about Goodell. He is not a nice dude, and people hate him. But look at how profitable and exciting the NFL is. He is
compared to the
nonsense
NBA.
Yeah, dude. Could you imagine the NFL was ran like that, where you had players load managing and you had all this garbage going on where owners are Chiefs trade.
But I mean, they're going that direction. They're going to have an 18-game regular season. You're getting in dangerous NBA territory where it's we got way too many games that aren't that interesting.
You need at least 2 buys. You need I liked 16.
There's going to be load managing in the NFL if they do that.